welcome to the Mommanevin YouTube channel. I have been corrected by my children that it is not a podcast, it is a YouTube channel. So, this is episode 4, and today is January 21st, 2024. I realized last week when I was reviewing my episode that I had spoken about quilting at the end. I made a comment, and I realized that I had spoken more in depth about quilting during one of the episodes that got deleted. So I did want to take just a couple of seconds and explain that again. This past year, I took a quilting class, and basically the quilting class, it tells you how to piece a quilt top. And so I've done that, and I had taken a class like 2010. So it's been a while. And I never got those quilt tops actually quilted. So I want to work on that. I'd like to do at least one myself, especially with retirement looming. I'm not going to be able to make quilts and send them out to be quilted. So I need to learn how to do it myself on my machine. I bought a machine that could handle that. So I just need to learn how to do it. So that's one of my goals for this year, is to learn how to actually quilt a quilt and finish it up. So that's what that was about. Talking about projects, which I am surrounded right now. Now, I had spoken about last week that I was going to rip out my Saint scarf. So I did do that. So there's the yarn, and we'll see how they do this year. I'm a little concerned because they fired the majority of their coaches. So I don't know about that. Could be another building year. Anyway, I did finish something. I finished these socks for Regina, the sweet little lady who's going through cancer treatment. And these markers show how much I did. So I did this one from here to here. And then I did this one from here to here. And so they are finished. My socks, I do like my socks to be as identical as possible. I do not worry about number of rows as much. If it's off by a row or two, I'm not going to worry about it. It does make a difference when you are doing one that has a special design in it. In this case, when I got down here and I got to the end of the color, I think this is the one, who knows. But when I got to the end of the color, I still had 2 more rows in the repeat for the design. So I went ahead and just started using the toe. And I know you can't tell. No, it's not going to show it. But this is sparkly pink, because I felt like Regina needed sparkly pink toes. Okay. So then on this one, no, I think it was the other way around. But anyway, on this one, I went ahead and cut the yarn at the same point in the design, so that this would have 2 rows of the design in the sparkly pink as well. Now, I just do, my socks are 60 stitches. I use a 2.25 millimeter needle. You know, nothing crazy. I think eventually, though, I am going to make a pair of socks from scratch on the show and do a little bit each week, so I can show you some things I do are unique. And it, you know, as you knit and learn things, you change things along the way and you learn different things. So one of the things that I do differently, what is it on that sock? One of the things that I do differently is that I use a slip stitch cast on. And that is something I saw many, many, many years ago from Tilly Buddy. And I have a video on my YouTube channel that shows how I do that. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. But I will go over it again when I do sock thing. And I'm probably going to start that after I finish the Who Done It knit along. So, on the Who Done Knit, I had a little bit of a problem this week. So let me take all the extra needles out of this so hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. All right, when you see this and you look here, this looks a lot smaller, doesn't it? Yeah, I noticed that too. So I tried it on, and I am going to try to put a picture in here so you can see that right here, excuse me, so you can see that it did not go over my arch of my foot and my heel at the same time. It was not stretchy enough. So what I did with this one, because I do use 60 stitches, and the reason for that is because I'm an incredibly loose knitter. And when I was trying to do 64 stitches with my socks, they were like baggy. They were falling off of me. So I think everyone needs to learn what works best for them. For me, my magic number is 60. So what I did with this, because this stitch was a, gosh, I forgot what the name of it is. Let me see if I can find it. It's granite lace. And what this does is you knit one row, then you purl 2 together on the next row, and then the row after that you knit front and back, and then you knit the last row. What happens with those knit 2 togethers, and then you know, if it would have been a knit 2 together and then a yarn over the next row, it probably would have been fine. But with it being a knit front and back the next row, it really made this a lot smaller and a lot more difficult to get on. So I will put a picture here again of after I did this one, I was able to get it on my foot. So what I did is I added 4 stitches to this particular stitch pattern, and it seemed to work fine. So what I will do is when I go to put my next round, which will be the allegedly, I will decrease those 4 stitches again and then just keep going from there. So this is where we are. Next week I rolled already, and it will be Professor Plum with a candlestick on the streetcar, which means it will be 5 repeats. So I have made another executive decision because I'm the boss of my knitting, and I decided that I was going to make sure that I did at least each color one time, at least each stitch pattern one time, and at least each repeat number one time. So I still have Mr. Green, Miss Peacock, the rope, the lead pipe, the Superdome, and City Park. So we'll see what happens there. So this next week, I don't know if I said this already. I had to start over again because I discovered I wasn't recording. So this week is going to be Professor Plum with this candlestick on the streetcar. So, all right. So I talked about Who Done It. I showed you Regina's. Now my cross stitch. I don't know if you can see this because I got more of the brown done, but down here, I don't know if you can see that, but it went into the white. So I'm working on the white right now. So that's not that easy to see because they sent me white fabric. If I had known, if I had looked at it closer before I started it, I probably would have picked a different color, maybe an off-white even would have been better, but that's okay. And this is the name of the Etsy shop where I got that pattern. So there's that. I know a lot of you guys have been dealing with horrible weather, and I'm so sorry. Where's my phone? Hang on a second. I don't have to deal with snow. I get to view snow. I can go in my backyard and look at the mountains. I can see Mount Baldy from my backyard. I was going to take a picture. However, it is cloudy, so I couldn't get a picture for you today. Our weather right now is 51 degrees. Oh, 58, sorry. And it rained almost all day yesterday, which is shocking for Southern California. You know, when I first heard the song, It Never Rains in Southern California, I thought that was, yeah, right, no way. It's true. It only rains here maybe 2 months of the year. So it's pretty different. It was very different moving here from Southern Louisiana. Very different. So, so my new project that I'm going to take on this week, this is going to be a long-term one. And right now, I'm not going to lie to you, it looks like a hot mess. This is what I was doing with my Advents. So I was doing 20 bumps, so 40 rows each of each color for each Advent. And then I had already done a lot of the, what do you call this? I can't think of the name. I know all of you are yelling at me right now what the name is, but I can't think of it, okay? It is a 4-stitch thing. And so what I do is I go and I pick up one of these every time. And I found that in order to make it lay correctly, on the even rows, I skip a stitch and go to the next one. And then on the odd rows, I do the next one. So it is strange. It's, but that's what you have to do to make it work. Now, stupidly, I started another one before I finished the first one. Yeah. And I have several of those. So I do have a list of who my Advents were from. The first column there is Sweet Sparrow from 2021. So that's what that one is. The second column is Nitty McPurley from 2021. And so I keep track of each one that I have. And so I just really want to work on it. It's just, I really enjoy it when I work on it. So this is how far I am so far, because I keep adding new ones when I should be finishing the other ones, because that's how my little ADD brain works. Anyway, I wish I could think of the name of that, but anyway. So I have this in a bag that my son and his wife, they weren't married at the time, but they took a trip to Japan. And they are my little travelers. They love to travel. Unfortunately, what happened to them is they were going to Japan to go to Disney Sea, which is the Japanese Disneyland. And it looked amazing. It was so fun. And what happened to them is they were in the plane on the way to Disney Sea, and they shut it. So they had to stay in Japan for a week with not a lot to do. And I felt so bad for them. But anyway, so they did bring me, that was my souvenir from Japan. Okay, so let's see where I am. I listen to quite a few podcasts, quite a few. And what I do is when they come out, I put them on, watch later, watch later, watch later. I wound up with like 400 podcasts. So I got real with myself January 1st, and I was like, I'm not going to listen to all these old ones, because what I find myself doing is whenever a new one comes out, I'll just go ahead and listen to it. So I declared podcast bankruptcy. And so I have about 30 in my list now. But some of the ones that I really love are Two Sisters and Some Yarn. And I do want to send my condolences to them this week. Their executive producer, Andrew, which is a beautiful dappled dachshund, he crossed the Rainbow Bridge this week. So I am so, so sorry, Denise. I know how hard that is. And another one that I listen to is The Crazy Sock Lady. And I listen to Candy Shop Yarns, and the pink sparkly toes for Regina's socks came from Candy Shop Yarns. It was one of her, she was doing these things called bonbons, and she would have a box and it would look like chocolates, and it was really neat. And I loved them. So that was one of the bonbons in one of the boxes. And it's kind of a ballerina pink. Probably she may think it of as a Barbie pink, because a lot of her colors have to do with like Barbie and stuff like that. So I like The Crazy Sock Lady. So Candy Shop Yarns, Salt City Knits. Salt City Knits is Candy Shop Yarns' sister. And so some of the other ones that I listen to that are not knit, crochet, quilt related are Reuben the Bulldog, which I think he's my spirit animal, because I love his grumpy attitude about life. And he's just really cute, and I like watching him. And then the other one I watch is The Farm, and it is a YouTube channel, and it's a couple in Australia, and they at one time ran a doggy daycare, and then they changed it to where they were going to have they pulled in strays that nobody else wanted, because Luke is an amazing dog trainer, just amazing what he can get dogs that nobody else wanted to do. And it's amazing. And they have a pack, and oh, I just love them. And they have 3 boxers there. And I am a very big boxer lover. We've had 2 boxers actually, and I just love them. And the only reason why we didn't get a boxer this time is because I just felt like it wasn't fair to a boxer not to have a child in the house, because boxers are the most amazing family dogs ever. So I just felt like we weren't active enough for a boxer, and so I wanted to be fair to the dog that we brought in. Speaking of Pirate, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about his background. Pirate is a staffy mix, and he is very much character. He hasn't done anything noteworthy this week, thank goodness. But he was at a rescue center in the high desert, which is, where was that located? It's not Hesperia, it's out in that area. And he had been in the rescue center for over a year, which, seeing his cute little face, I can't believe that nobody wanted him for a year. But we feel very fortunate that he wound up on our doorstep. And the reason why we adopted Pirate is because he looked so much like one of our previous dogs, who was something else. So on this side is our dog Pepper, and then this is Pirate. So of course we had to adopt him, right? So anyway, he's had a busy week. My husband has taken him for a walk for almost every day, and he's been going for like an hour a day, so that's pretty cool. So purchases, I bought this light stick, and it's from So Steady, And I saw someone using this, and they put it on under, like I said, my machine. I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't. But it has a clear extended sewing area. And what this guy did is he put this light under there, and he was able to use it like a light table. And I thought, that's brilliant. So I, of course, had to buy one. So let me go over my notes really quick, make sure I haven't forgotten anything. My kids, I haven't told you too much about them. My oldest son is Scott, and he got married this past May to Becca. So Becca is just, she is so fun. She's such a fun person. She loves vintage clothing. One of our favorite things that you wouldn't think kids in their 20s and 30s would want to do, but they love to go antiquing. So, and I love to go antiquing, so I go with them if I can. But she's just so much fun. And our other daughter-in-law, our other son, Steve, who's our youngest, is married to Jessica. And Jessica is just the warmest, sweetest person ever. And I'm very blessed with my daughter-in-laws, incredibly blessed. Both of my boys went to work for the Big Cheese in Anaheim, and that is where they met their wives. And so we have been incredibly blessed with the two women that they met and married, and so we're very happy with them. Where Steve came over this week and had dinner with us, and that was really, it's always really special when they come visit. So we're going to next Saturday, all six of us are going to go to an antique store out kind of in Beaumont, but a little bit before Beaumont. But anyway, it's you know, I'm not looking for anything special. My husband and I collect pink depression glass. So, you know, we always look for that. And I've started like a teacup collection, so I look for that. And, you know, just different things. And different things for my room up here for decoration. So I look for that. But I have my little show and tell, and then I think that's going to do it. So my show and tell this week is my catchy. And you can get one of these on Amazon. And it is amazing. And what it does is when it is plugged in and turned on, there's a light that is on here. And it runs all the time. And my catchy has caught some you know, the nasty things that we don't, as knitters, don't like. So it catches bugs. And one time we opened it, and it had the most gigantic moth in it. And I just couldn't believe it. So when it gets like this, and it's kind of full, and you got a bunch of bugs in it, because I definitely wanted it in my sewing room, my yarn room. I did have, at one time, I will confess, I did have a moth problem. And so now, anytime that I get yarn in, it immediately goes in a plastic bag. And it stays in a plastic bag until I use it. So here's what the refill looks like. And all I'm going to do is I popped open the bottom. I'm just going to put this in there and close it back up. And then I'll go plug it in and turn it back on. And then we'll see what kind of bugs it catches. So I love my catchy. It gives me a lot of peace of mind with the moth issue, because I hate moths. So anyway, thank you for coming to visit with me today. I really enjoyed it. Got a little more chatty this time than I did before. If you have any questions or anything, please leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer anything that you ask. And again, thank you. I have gotten so many more views than I ever thought I would, which is just amazing to me. But have a good afternoon. I'm going to go watch some football and knit So